Hello everyone, welcome to Business Studies channel. And today's video I'll be covering understanding business activity. It's an IGCSE business topic. We'll be covering the purpose and nature of business activity, concepts of needs, wants, scarcity and opportunity cost, importance of specialization, purpose of business activity, the concept of adding value and how added value can be increased. So these are the four main topics I'll be covering in this video. You will also have the option to participate in a test to examine your knowledge. First of all, I'll talk about the purpose of business activity. So the purpose of a business is to provide us, the customers, with a service and goods that meets our needs and wants. Keep that point in mind, needs and wants. So the purpose of a business is to meet our needs and wants. All businesses you see every day in your local area, their aim is to meet our demand and obviously to make profit. So what are goods and services? Goods are things we can physically touch, like cars, bread, water, food, chocolate, for example. These are all goods, also known as products. Services are intangible property, something we cannot touch but is there. For example, car insurance, my website, or my YouTube channel. You can visit to learn business, but you cannot physically obtain anything from it. It's a service. Knowledge is a service, so you might charge someone for sharing an idea with them. Facebook is a service. It is used to connect two different parties to communicate. Government services, internet is a service. So now that we can tell the difference between goods and services, we're going to move on to needs and wants. If you remember, I mentioned them above. So what are needs? Needs are things we cannot live without. These are the very necessary things to aid life progress. And what that means is that we need them. It is the most important thing in our life. These are the things that are very essential in our everyday life. For example, water, food, and somewhere to live, for example, a house, a shelter. So the needs are things that are very essential for our life. On the other hand, wants. Wants are things that we don't really need to survive, but would like to have, a desire or a wish. So things that are not really essential, whereas needs are essential, wants are not essential. For example, iPhone XS. Do we really need an iPhone XS? Could we survive without an iPhone XS? Yes, of course we can. Ferrari, gold watch, for example. These are things that are wants that we don't really need to survive. Our wants can be unlimited, and as humans we always want to introduce and invent new things, so we are never really satisfied with what we want. On the other hand, our earth has a limited resources. This results in economic problems, the shortage of goods and services. To produce services or goods, we need resources. This can be covered by factors of production. There are four factors to production: land, capital, labor, enterprise. I'll break down each so that you understand what each means. For example, land, all materials and natural resources. Physical, the actual physical land or extractable natural resources such as coal, oil and gas. So that is what land is. Capital is money. Capital basically means money, and it could also mean investment. So capital is money, investment, and equipment, machinery can also be classed as capital. So to create more products, we might have machinery. So that machinery is our capital. Labor, people who work in the business, workers who contribute to the production of goods and services, scales of people, and then we have the final stage, that is enterprise. Enterprise is bringing together the factors of production in order to produce a good or service. So what enterprise does is that it brings land, capital, labor, puts them all together, and it makes it a product or a service that we as consumers want or need. In enterprise, we have entrepreneurs. These are people who take risks and hope for a profit. So, for example, they would get the land, the capital, and labor and start up a business and take the risk and make a business for themselves. And that's what enterprise is, taking risk and making something that we as a customer want. So there would be no point in taking risk and making something that nobody wants. And that's why a lot of businesses fail, because they don't know their marketing mix so well, or they don't know how to market their product or what product the customers want, and so on. But we'll cover that in another task. Let's just stick with this topic for now. We are going to talk about scarcity. What that means is when there are not enough goods and services to meet the needs and wants of a population, us, the customers. Scarcity refers to the basic economic problem, the gap between limited resources and theoretically unlimited wants. This situation requires people to make decisions about how to allocate resources efficiently in order to satisfy basic needs and as many additional wants as possible. We can use a formula to understand scarcity further. That is, unlimited wants plus limited resources equals scarcity. So if just make a note of this formula. In fact, just put it in comment sections below, because when you write or type somewhere, you tend to remember it for longer. Because I'm sure this question will possibly come in your exam, because it's quite important formula to understand. So what that basically means is scarcity is when we have unlimited wants, but we have limited resources. So let's say we want millions of iPhones, but we don't have resources to make that million iPhones. So that is where scarcity comes to life. Now that we understand scarcity, let's understand opportunity cost, because I think somehow they're related, because scarcity is about not having enough resources but having unlimited wants, whereas opportunity cost gives us an option to select one or the other. So I'll quickly read you the description of what opportunity cost is. Opportunity cost is described well as the loss of other alternative. When one alternative is chosen, alternative means one of two or more available possibilities. What this means is that we always have more than one option. So when we choose one, the other will be lost. For example, you give up going to cinema to watch a movie for a test because you want to get good grades. So the opportunity cost to you is going to the cinema and enjoying a movie. Another example will be that you deciding to spend £80 to buy some good shoes for yourself and don't pay your electricity bills. The opportunity cost to you is that having the electricity turned off, paying some activation fees to get the electricity turned back on, late charges probably will occur, and you might also have some food in the fridge and freezer that will get ruined, because if you don't have electricity, how is your food and frozen food stay frozen in the freezer? And you might also not have hot water to get a shower. So that is the opportunity cost. So when you select one, you lose the other option. Specialization. Now that is a great topic to talk about. We all have some sort of specialization within us. We all have some speciality within us. But today we are going to try and relate it to business. In business, specialization means being good at or having a very comprehensive understanding of a specific area. This can be a product, service, or a skill. So that is what it means in business. For example, doctors, we have different doctors who specialize in different areas of medical, like dentist, operating technician, or so on. We have legal workers who specialize in civil service, for example, or corporate. There's different areas of specialization in business. So you could have a business that specializes in producing car tires. You could have a business that specializes in producing windows for that car. So specialization means being very good at something, or having a good understanding of that something, or being the top in that area. I will give you another example, is that your teacher, they might be specialized in teaching business studies. Every teacher you come across will have some sort of speciality field, whether be it maths, English, science, or business. Don't be afraid, just go and ask them. I'm sure they will not mind if you ask appropriately. Division of labor means dividing a job into many specific parts, with a single worker or a few workers assigned to each part. It is dividing the production process into different stages, enabling workers to focus on a specific task. If workers can concentrate on one small aspect of production, this increases overall efficiency. Workers within a company become specialized in that specific area or task assigned to them. Division of labor is very important to mass production. However, there are good and bad sides to this, just like it is to everything else in business. The good side is that we are saving time, because there will be less movement of the workers. Giving each employee task that suits their skills, that is another advantage of division of labor. Increasing productivity is another advantage. However, the bad side of fall in motivation, what that means is that staff or employee tend to be less motivated, because they are constantly doing the same job, so the job itself will become boring. Another disadvantage is that if an employee who is specialized in a specific area is absent, the production may stop, as the whole production may be depending on that worker. So I would suggest that all businesses have multiple people doing specialized in different tasks, but that's not always cost effective. I'll give you an example. A car production company will have different people specialized in different areas. Some workers will be specialized in designing of the car, some will be specialized in fixing the tires, and some will be specialized in creating the glass or doors for that car. Do you see there are different specialized, skilled people who come together to fix the car? Our final topic, adding value. A business adds value when the selling price of an item produced is higher than the cost of all the resources used to make it. By resources, we mean things such as raw materials, equipment, buildings, and staff. So in short words, value added is enhancement or extra features a company gives its product or service before offering the product to customers. We need to remember that adding value is not same as profit. Formula to use when adding value is selling price, takeaway, cost to make the product equals value added. Let me just give you an example so then you understand exactly what adding value is. Let's say that we have a car costing £10,000. The selling price is £10,000. It costs us £3,000 in materials such as metal, tires, glass, and so on. So 10,000 takeaway, 3,000 is 7,000 value added. Now the 7,000 is not the profit. No, that is not the profit. We still have to pay rent on the building the car is made in, staff's wages, bills on electricity. So after the deduction of these, we can say we have made a profit. So value added is the cost of materials that is used to make the product or service. It does not include or take into account rent and staff wages. Companies will use a number of ways to add value to their product. I've listed 4 here, but there's many other options. You could find out for yourself, or you could quiz your teacher. That's up to you. Number 1 is after buy service. So some businesses will offer option to provide support for the product or service you have bought for an additional cost. So if something goes wrong with your product, they will try and fix it for you. Personalize the product or service. So some businesses will offer the option to personalize their product for you so that suits you best. Extra features. Some businesses will offer extra features such as Apple, for example. They have iPhone that's got 32 GB, 16 GB, 62 GB, different colors, red, blue, gold, what have you. But each has a different price tag. So each feature will cost you more. Another way businesses will add value to their product is by branding and quality. So they will put a brand name on and produce good quality products, and that's how they will add value. That was the final of topic for this video. Please make sure that you watch the next video, which is about classification of business. I have put together a small test for you, 10 questions. So what you will need to do is you will need to complete that test to make sure that you understood the topic that we have just covered. Answers for these questions will be on my website. I'll include the link in the description below. Thank you very much for taking this class with me. I'll see you on the next class of classification of business. Take care for now.